Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time watching, then welcome. Today I attempted to recreate this look. I'll show you guys on the screen. This is a look by Makeup by Sealer. So I saw this on Twitter and I've had it saved to my camera roll on my phone for months, I think, like a long time anyway. And I've really been wanting to do it, and if you saw my previous video, you would have heard me talking about how I really miss using colour, and I'd only been using like black and whites for like 3 weeks, and I really wanted to do something colourful. So I was like, oh my gosh, why don't I recreate this look? So it is a very colourful look. I love the rainbow. I'm gonna do so many more rainbow looks now. I've like reignited my passion for colourful looks, so I'm very excited, and keep an eye out for those, as well as some more cremated palette tutorials soon. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss them. And yeah, let's get on into this tutorial. Okay, so eyebrows, white eyeshadow base, and I've made sure to apply the base out past my eye here because I'm going to be winging out the eyeshadow, so we need to make sure that there's base there for the eyeshadow to stick to. And I haven't bothered to apply any base to my eyelid because we're going to be cutting out the crease and we don't need to have base there at the moment because we'll be adding some more later. And the lighter the base, the better for this look because we are using colours, yay! And having a lighter base is going to make the colours stand out and pop as much as possible. And so we're going to be adding in some colour to the crease, and to do that I'm using my Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. Oh wow, it's so bright. There we go. And I'm going to be adding 4 different shades. So I'm just going to show you all of the shades now because it's going to be a mission to come back and forth, I think anyway. It'll save me time to do it like this. So I'm going to be applying this shade here called No Joke, this shade here called My Man, this shade here called Tipsy Girl, and this shade here called Not My Journey. Yes. And to apply those, I'm going to be using these 4 crease brushes. So just a variation of fluffy-ish brushes of varying sizes. And I'm going to start off by applying No Joke, the yellow shade, to the innermost section of the crease. So if we were to section off the eye into 4 different sections, then we will be applying that to the inner quarter of the crease. And just applying this in circular motions to really buff that in and get that colour really packed on. Once we've done that, we're moving on to My Man, the orange shade, and placing that in the inner second quarter of the crease, applying that in the same way in small circular motions to get those 2 colours to blend in together and also to keep the edges nice and blended. Once we've done the orange, we're moving on to Tipsy Girl in the outer third quarter of the eye, and this is basically going to cover up most of the actual crease in the eyelid, and the purple is going to be applied in the dragged out winged type shape, so that's not really going to be in the actual crease at all. So yeah, dragging that purple out into a wing, and we're blending this down to the outer corner of the eye because we will need that to blend onto the eyelid once we carve out the crease. Okay, so that is the base for the crease down, and I'm getting very excited because I feel like it's been so long since I've done such a colourful look, like probably a month, maybe even more. So it feels really good to have some colour back in my life again. And yeah, what better way to do it than doing a rainbow on your face? So yeah, we've got the base down and it's kind of blended, but like not really. So we will need to blend it out properly, and to do that I'm going to go in with this white shade here called Certified and a fluffy blending brush, and I'm using this to blend out the edges of all of the colour that we've got in the crease, and just using small circular motions to do that. I'm going to be doing this half on the colour that's in the crease and half on the blank skin above it, and just ever so lightly touching the skin using the brush we don't want to apply too much pressure, because using a soft amount of pressure on the brush is actually going to give us a better blend than if we were to press down hard. And while this is blending out the shades, it's actually taking away some of the pigment and making it not so bright. So I'm going back in with all 4 of the shades and just reapplying those to build up the pigment again and to just assist with the blend, and just going back and forth between the white shade in the blending brush and the 4 original shades and brushes that we've been using. Okay, so that is the crease colors all blended out, and now we're going to prep the eye to do the cut crease. So I'm taking some Vaseline and a flat rounded concealer brush, and I'm using this to remove the product off of the eyelid and give us a template for where we're going to carve the crease when we put the base down. So I'm just using this to loosen up the makeup, and then I'm going to remove it using a cotton tip. And I'm going to curve it upwards towards the outer corner of the eye as if we were, you know, doing a winged shape, but I'm not bringing it all the way out. It's just a slight little curve to give it a bit of shape. And I'm not going to worry too much about the outer corner of the eye, because that's going to blend in towards the center of the eye, and it doesn't really need to be as precise and perfect. Okay, so that is the eyelid prepped for the cut crease, and now we're going to actually do the cut crease. So I'm taking a different flat rounded concealer brush and my P.Louise base in the shade Rumour 0, and I'm using this to carve out the crease where I've already removed the product. So following the template that I've already done, and I'm also applying this in patting motions, because that's going to help keep the edges of the cut crease nice and rounded, and it's also going to give us a nice even application across the entirety of the cut crease. In the outer corner where it starts to blend into the purple, I'm not going to worry too much about it being precise there. I'm going to slightly blend it out there just so that we don't have any harsh lines once we start to apply the colours. Okay, so now that we have the crease carved out, we're going to start adding in some colours onto the eyelid. So I'm going to first go in with the purple shade from the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette and the same brush that I was using, and use that to blend onto the cut crease, but just as far as about where we've blended it into the pink in the crease, and just trying to get the edges of that blended as much as possible during this step, because that will just make the whole process easier, because it can be quite hard to blend out once you've already applied it. Then once I've done that, I'm going to go in with my James Charles Morphe palette and going in with this blue shade here called Playground and an all over shader brush. So applying that blue to the edge of the purple that I've just applied and using that to blend towards the eyelid, but I'm not bringing it too far onto the eyelid. It's just going to be kind of a transition colour into the main eyelid colour, and just to give a hint of blue. And the same as with the purple, we want to make sure that the edge of this is quite blended out, because once you've kind of set the eyeshadow in place, it's going to be really hard to get it to move around and blend out. For the remainder of the lid, I'm going to be taking my Helen E Neon Pigment in the shade Neon Green and a small detail eyeshadow brush, and I'm just applying this to the remainder of the eyelid and using patting motions to do this to reduce fallout and just to make sure that the colour is really packed on. And I'm using this sized brush so that I can get as close to the edge of the cut crease as I can without getting it overlapping into the crease colours, because we really want that nice defined crease. Okay, so that is the top of the eye complete, and next we're going to move on to the under eye and smoke out the lower lash line. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply some of my P.Louise base to the under eye using that same brush that I used to carve out the crease. And this is just going to make sure that the eyeshadow has something to stick to, and also ensure that it is as bright as possible, because we want it to be super colourful and vibrant. And then once I've done that, I'm going to start applying those same 4 crease colours into the under eye. So I'm going to begin with the darkest shade, the purple, in the outer corner of the eye, and blending that into Tipsy Girl, the pink, in the outer third quarter of the eye. Then moving on to the orange shade, My Man, in the second quarter of the under eye area, and blending that into the yellow, No Joke, in the very inner portion of the under eye. And just making sure that these colours blend together nicely, and also they blend out nicely, pointing down towards, you know, your cheekbones. Okay, so that is the eye pretty much complete, but I am going to add in some colour to the waterline. So what I'm doing is I'm taking an eyeliner brush and some of that neon green pigment, and I'm mixing that in with a little bit of my P.Louise base to create a bit of a green liner. And then I'm just applying this to my waterline, and mixing it with the base before applying it is just going to make sure that we're going to not get so much of the pigment in the eye, because sometimes that can happen. Alright, next I'm just going to go do my face makeup, and then I'll be back to finish off the rest of the look. Okay, so that's all done, and now I'm going to add in some highlighter. So I'm going to be taking my Lime Crime Mermaid's highlight and going in with the center shade called Pearl. I can't open the palette and show you guys because one of them is smashed and it will go everywhere. And I'm applying this with two different brushes. So I'm taking the large fluffy highlighting brush for my face and the small, well, mini eyeshadow brush for around my eyes. So using the mini eyeshadow brush, I'm applying this to my tear duct and my brow bone. And then using the fluffy highlighting brush, I'm applying this to my cheekbones, the tip of my nose, and my cupid's bow. Now for my lips, I'm going to be taking my MAC Retro Matte Lipwear in the shade Lady Be Good. Okay, now the look is pretty much complete. The last thing we have to do is just apply mascara and false eyelashes. So the lashes I'm going to be using today are my XO Beauty Faux Mink lashes. These are in the style Exotic. I'm going to pop these on off camera, and then I'll be back to show you guys the completed look. So here we have the completed look with lashes. I'm really enjoying having some colour on my face again. It's been way too long. A month is like a year for me in terms of that, I guess. Life can get pretty boring without colour in it. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. I love the contrast, how it's just all the colours of the rainbow. The one problem I do have is that the green doesn't look so neon anymore. When I first applied it, it was very vibrant and neon, and now just after, you know, like a couple hours wear, because it did take me a very decent chunk of time, like 4 hours, 5 hours maybe, yeah, it's kind of faded and gone a little muted, which is a little bit disappointing, but it still looks really amazing in my opinion. It's given me a lot of inspiration. I've come up with an idea that I really want to do very shortly. I'm not sure if it's already been done before, but we'll see. I think I did a pretty good job of recreating the look. It doesn't look exactly how it does in the picture that I'm recreating it from, but still pretty much, you know, in essence the same look. Wow, I'm just looking at it now and it's so vibrant, the neon. So, stink. That sucks. But whatever. I think it still looks great, and yeah, I hope that you guys do too. And if you do and you enjoyed this video, then please thumbs up and subscribe, and click that little bell button so you can get notified every time I post a new video. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.